Welcome to Reform the LA Way. I'm Monica Garcia, and on today's show, we are looking at instruction the LA way and what the LAUSD has done to improve overall instruction in our schools to increase student achievement. Joining me today are the A-Team, instructional leaders of our district, our superintendent, Dr. John Dacey, Michelle King, Senior Deputy Superintendent, and Dr. Jaime Aquino, Deputy Superintendent of Instruction. Welcome.
Thank you.
I am just pleased that we have had another year of more graduation in Los Angeles, more kids reading and writing at grade level, and I wanted to bring you together and give you a chance to reflect on your work. Superintendent, share with us. 2013.
I say this every time that I'm around LA and around the country. I mean, LA is America, only sooner. And what happens here is going to happen around the rest of the country. What we look like, who we are, our successes. Most of the country is seriously looking to us for solutions. So I'm very proud of what we've done. We've had nothing short but a spectacular year. So we've led the complete transformation about how we are preparing students for career and college through the development of our very focused theory of action. We came here, as you know, 3 years ago and said, this is a youth rights agenda. Students have the right to a high quality education every single day of their life. And so we thought about the most important things we could do was ensure that they have the most effective teacher in front of them every single day in a school led by the most effective principal. So who the system hires and promotes and trains and retains and places and compensates, and who we do not keep have been about the transformation of the human beings who get the privilege of working with students. The second part is, how do you run this system? This is a $7 billion annual budget. It's an enormous enterprise. We're bigger than 11 states. And so this was about strong performance management. We set a few targets. Some of them I want to talk about today, particularly reclassification. And we focus on those every single day. And the third is that parents, guardians, and youth get the right to high quality choice. And so we've been very driven by that in the initiatives of our Common Core implementation, our initiatives around A through G, our initiatives around safe and orderly schools and supportive communities, our initiatives of strong family engagement, and working with our language learners and our students who are in special education. And so every day we're driven by that. It's on the door, it's on the wall, and you know, I'm just closing this year out feeling so amazingly encouraged by the progress we've made.
And Monica, I want to emphasize a word that our superintendent used, which was transformation, because I think the LA way is not about reforming schools. We're not here to reform school. We're here to transform our schools to places of academic excellence where all students, regardless of the color of their skin, the socioeconomic status, the language that they speak, will strive and will be able to pursue the American dream. So that's the LA way, which is a radical transformation of how we do teaching and learning in the city of LA.
I mean, Jaime and I knew you both were here when you opened Arleta. Think about this, a brand new school. In a short period of time, this graduation rate is way above 90%. We just had the cadets who are in the cadet police program. So I love this piece. So there was 500 of these cadets who just graduated, which was an amazing issue. So 96% of those cadets are LAUSD students, and last year 97% were graduates from high school. I mean, it's just amazing.
You know, being here for throughout my entire career, I've seen this district really move towards that all-youth agenda. And when I talk to colleagues in other districts and even in our own schools, they've really been able to see that transformation where we have focused on the youth and focused on what's best for them and ensuring that they get high-quality education. And so when we think about it, we think about first who and then what we're going to do. So we understand that it's critical to ensure that we have the best teacher and best leader at each of our buildings leading this work. And it's really through our employees, which are our greatest asset in this district, that we've been able to forge the transformation that both of you have talked about, from the teachers and principals, but also, I want to say, from our classified staff, who have also done quite a bit of heavy lifting during our times of, you know, lean years. They have also been there along the way, helping us be able to achieve the amazing results that we've been able to get in this district.
And I think for me, one of the most satisfying moments of this year came towards the end of the school year, and it came from a student from City of Terrace, a young fifth grader, Latino student, who gave his speech at the Dual Language Institute, and then we actually invited him to do our closing remarks at our meeting with all the superintendent and instructional director. And this 10-year-old got up in front of hundreds and gave his speech in English, Spanish, and Mandarin. And what he said was basically his message was thanking LAUSD for giving him the education that is going to prepare, and I quote, to be the next president of the United States. And because he knows 3 languages, he's going to promote peace around the world. It was just unbelievable. That's what LAUSD has done under your leadership as board president and under the superintendent. And that's what we're doing for every single student, is making miracles happen for our kids.
You know, our team who works for the board, and you know us, one of the things that I think we're very conscious of is we do not make statements or promises to youth unless we deliver. And everything that we ever say out loud, we're very mindful that you have 909,000 pre-K, K-12, adult education people who look to see if we keep our promise. A year ago, we stood up and we said, there'll be no digital divide in LAUSD. We do not care where you happen to live or that zip code or what impacts you have. You have the right to access the same technology as students in Palo Alto, and students in Los Gatos, and students in La Cañada, LAUSD. And in last night's board meeting, we delivered on that promise. And we have begun to realize that every student will have access to the technology so that they can learn the Common Core in the ways that students in the most privileged areas of California are going to learn that work. So when we say to teachers that we will be side by side with you through this transformation, we have kept that promise. I tell you, when you walk through the classrooms, it's amazing to see the transformation teaching. It's really amazing.
It's happening. It's
It
happening.
is.
And, you know, I love going to graduations. For me, I love to see the students own their success. I love to see our staff, the teachers, the principals, anyone who helped them just beam with pride, because this is what it's about. And I think our challenge has been on the All Youth Rights Agenda, or All Youth Achieving Youth Rights Agenda, Diplomas for All. This district has to move faster to help the kids who aren't making it. And what would you say to families that aren't feeling or experiencing our success yet, but we know we are moving down that line?
Well, I would say 2 things. One is don't let us off the hook. Press. You have a right to this. And your voice helps accelerate the work. And so that's very, very important. And 2 is we want to be a partner in making sure that that happens. But the other thing is we would say is you have choices. You have choices. If you are dissatisfied where you are, this district in 3 short years has created more options and more choices where you can go to school in an LAUSD public school under a variety of different structures where you can get what you need. And we want to help you understand what those options are.
And I think our parents are realizing that they do have options. We have seen an increase from parents inquiring about the various school options we have in our portfolio. And they're not always seeking permits out of our district. They're looking at the pilot schools, they're looking at affiliated charters, our magnet schools, which we've been able to expand that successful program to all across our district, which has been very successful, and our parents really enjoy that. But even options that have not been dreamed up yet, our teachers are creating opportunities, and we are open to expanding choice for all youth.
And I would say, and I always say this, particularly to my community, the Latino parents, you know, who are really humbled and think that they're grateful just to the fact that they're getting an education that is free. But this is their right. And because this is their right, they should demand high quality education, not just access to education. And that's what I encourage that. And I encourage all of us to be the voices of our silent parents who do not know how to advocate, because that's what we want to ensure, that everybody has access to high quality education. It's not enough just opening our doors to our schools. We better make sure that when we get there, the students get there, we're delivering on the promise that,
Yes.
that we have
Yes.
all
Benefit.
benefit, that we are living the American dream. And that's what we need to make sure that our Latino parents know. No more of the ay pobrecito syndrome. This is our time. This is our time, and we need to seize it. So.
And you know, through our new structure in ESCs, our Educational Service Centers, we do have parent coaches, advocates for our parents that are working with our parents to activate their voice.
Yes.
So that they can advocate on their own behalf. So they're teaching and working with them. So in our new structure, we've divided instruction and operation so that we can greater support what's happening in the classroom and have dedicated folks to drive the instructional agenda. We do have a component with parents to educate parents, as I said, activate their voice, give them the tools necessary to ensure that they're not letting us off the hook and that they are pressing. And how do you go in and talk to the principal and ask for what you want? How do you work with the counselor to ensure that your child has the A to G classes? And so we have seen quite a bit of success in our new model of how we reorganize our district into service centers.
And we're trying to track to make sure that we're delivering on that. So we've told you some of what we believe and what we're doing. So good, let's verify it. So for people who do not reclassify and become from the language learner to proficient, you actually can't get the courses you need to graduate. So reclassification is an enormous issue. So we can tell parents about reclassification, we can help students do that, but is it actually happening? And in our first year of this focus, we have nearly doubled the rate of reclassification. Like, that has never happened before. And
We've doubled the rate of reclassification?
yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
absolutely. And so part of that was the knowledge, letting parents know, helping students understand that. But it's also part of a student's right to be able to do that. And so I think about this, and we didn't learn this from some outside expert. We went to the schools that were having unbelievable results with classification. It's inside of LA, and just getting that to be spread across that. That's one example. I mean, another piece that we look at that we're very mindful is student suspensions. And as you know, we moved from focusing on this to understanding this to stopping suspensions for willful defiance because it was so disproportional to groups of students. And we've dropped that by 50%. So you need to obviously be mindful of the transformation and make sure it's happening.
I just want to say how astounding that is. We recaptured over 20,000 instructional days for youth by reducing suspensions, and have worked to change the climate on school campuses through our Discipline Foundation policy so that our students can focus on instruction. Our teachers aren't hindered by disruptive behavior on campuses. But it was really about working with mindset and changing the mindset of how we deal with behavior or misbehavior, and how we help students understand what is the behavior we want to see happen on campuses. And then for youth who are activated and came to this board and said, we want a student's bill of rights because we deserve to have an education, and you cannot kick us out of school. We want to be in class getting our education. And so we have been activating student voice as well, demanding from us to be in school, in class, and get their education.
And
And this
again,
is
and learning from inside. So a lot of this was gleaned from the work that took place at Garfield, for example.
Yeah.
So we went and found schools that were getting 90% reclassification rates. We went and found high schools that very successfully implemented this policy. So the powerful knowledge is within LA.
But this is also a district that cares about all our kids, beginning from the kids who are struggling, our English learners, to our gifted kids. And this district has increased the enrollment of students in AP, advanced placement courses. And according to the College Board, this year we had historic gains for a large urban district of students scoring 3 or higher on the AP courses. So not
The
only
highest.
did we,
Yes.
the highest,
The
not only did
Incredible.
we increase the enrollment of students taking the courses, but we also saw the highest increase of any urban district in the history of the College Board in terms of passing. Passing was at 3 or 4. So we should be really, really proud because we are a district that is 75% minority, 75% economically disadvantaged. Really shows that doesn't matter where you come from, you know, where you were born does not determine your educational destiny, and our kids are showing that.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with my guests right after this KLCS News Brief.
The mission of Dancing Classrooms Los Angeles is to promote positive youth development, to strengthen and engage schools, and to bring diverse communities together, all through the practice of ballroom dance.
I've had the experience of being from Compton all the way to Beverly Hills and reaching kids with such different backgrounds from all across the city has been a life-changing experience for me. And I've literally seen children grow up in front of me and learn in a world where they're not taught to be respectful to each other or to adults, and they just come out of this experience a completely changed child.
The most exciting thing about working with these teams is just seeing the positive reinforcement that they get every single day from dance and from the arts.
We get a lot of friends like from different classes that we meet, like Ethan and other friends from other classes. It's really good, and you get to meet new people.
First, when you start dancing classrooms, you think it's going to be boring, but as you start to go on and know the dances, you'll learn to have fun with dancing, and it's different than normal pop dancing and jazz and things like that. You actually dance with someone, and you have to dance the same dance, and you have to go to the beat together, and it's not just a separate dance you do by yourself.
You will get to see the ladies and gentlemen from all over the Los Angeles area compete for the trophy. It's like this tall, bigger than some of the 5th graders here, and they're going to compete in the merengue, the foxtrot, the rumba, the tango, the swing. Yes, it's going to be a very exciting night.
We learned 6 dances. My favorite dance is the swing because it's whenever you dance on the swing, you're always happy and you never get sad.
All right, thank you, swing.
Welcome back to Reform the LA Way as our conversation continues regarding the important work done to improve instruction at the LAUSD and to lead the nation in urban transformation. I've just felt so proud listening to you. The amazing you're witnessing a real, I think LA cares about kids. I think our community has come together, wants LA Unified to be successful, and whether it's standard English learners, gifted kids, choices for our parents, support, it's happening under really tough circumstances. And we've cut budgets. The public is very well aware. They've supported us with Prop 30, but people in this district care about kids, and what I'm hearing from you is really the deep commitment we have to the success of our students. How would you invite more employees to embrace the changes in the district and to learn from their colleagues and to join the movement? How do we invite them?
Don't sit back. Students that look at you and they're counting on you. You're very powerful. You can't imagine whether you are giving the student their lunch, which is likely to be the meal that they'll have, because our students live in lots of peril, or whether you are taking care of the student in the nurse's office, or whether you are the person who's going to enroll them for their first AP course. Every interaction you have with a youth is very powerful. Now remember, this is, of course, it's wonderful to have kids graduate from school. It's necessary. The economic viability of this city and this state rests with LAUSD. I'm going to get old one day. I actually want the student who is in 4th grade now to be a very successful doctor to take care of me. I want the students who are going to be the air traffic controllers at LAX when I go visit my grandchild to know what they're doing. So I need the next generation of employees and leaders to be very, very successful. That happens not just from teachers. It happens from everybody who touches students. And the power you have to shape a life is so much more than you could imagine.
I've had the opportunity to visit the cafeterias in our district and talk with cafeteria managers and talk with cafeteria work. They see themselves as part of the success for our students' achievement.
Absolutely.
They believe they are part. Now, when I go to the bus yard and see the buses roll out early in the morning with our bus drivers, they understand and that they are part of the work and contribute to the success of our students. So I think our employees who are not in the classroom but are vital to ensuring the success of our youth do feel part of the fabric of what we're doing, do see themselves as valuable and a major contributor to successes that we are seeing in achievement with our youth.
One of the strategies that I've been suggesting to our principals in terms of this, which I have used in other districts, is a segment that I call listening to the voices of our children. And I talk about Nelson, and this past year we began our Summer Institute by listening to the voices of our students. And what I suggest to principal is, I wonder what would happen if every single faculty meeting and staff meeting that you have throughout the entire year begins with one of your students sharing their story. And if that begins, if you do that, I can guarantee you will change the culture, and even those people who might be a little resistant will go back to the reason why we all decided to go into education, because it was really to make a difference. I've seen it happen, and I see some principals taking that strategy. Very powerful, particularly at the middle and high school. When you hear the voices of what they go through and their aspiration, it grounds you to why we are in this business or in this mission, because it's really a cause for all of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm wondering, as we wrap up and quickly start up the next year, and we're going to welcome the class of 2014 and 2026, what are you looking forward to in the coming year?
Students coming back to school. It's already been a week and it's not the same. I mean, it is, I'm alive at my happiest moment is in the job. It's a difficult job. Not every day is a joy, but it is every time I can visit a classroom. And when I'm in a school, the schools are, they're not alive at the moment because all the youth are home on some break. I want them back as soon as possible. Every day is such an opportunity. We have so little time to work with students. So I'm looking forward to actually having folks back. And then the major pieces of work, of course, is that we're going to be implementing the technology program. We're going to be implementing the Common Core. Students are going to experience it for the first time, which is a total transformation in the work that we're going to be able to give students. We're rolling out completely the new educated growth and development cycle next year. So it points to what good teaching is and how I can get better at teaching and identifying top performers. And it's going to be the first year that we're going to labor without dramatic cuts.
Yes. I'm looking forward, in addition to the kids, it's our new leaders. Because that's always exciting. We're going to have a fresh, new group of principals that will join us, and they are excited and hungry and want to do the best work. And so I'm excited about that first opening meeting that we have, where Dr. Daisy and the board, you address all of the leadership of LA Unified. And it's at that time where you inspire them, and everyone's in there and they're excited and electric and they're ready to go out. And then we meet with the new leaders, and we hear from them. It's just the best time, because you look in everyone's eyes and face and you see the optimism, you see the hope, and you see the desire to go out and do just great things for kids. So that's just a special moment for me.
And for me, I'm going to quote you, Monica. I am looking forward to be part of this digital revolution. This is historic. I'm looking forward to seeing our teachers, principals, students, and parents being pioneer in this country in terms of bridging the digital divide and saying all our kids have to be ready for the 24th century. It is truly a historic moment that in terms of providing this one-on-one device to students. So it is going to be an incredible revolution.
It is.
And it's going to transform teaching and learning in the lives of all our communities.
It is. I am so excited. And I want to ask you before we close, what will you be reading this summer?
Oh, this is interesting. For my work, I'm going to be reading How Children Succeed by Paul Tough. It's a very interesting book, and it takes into the account of students in the most challenging circumstances. How are they outperforming? And a lot of it has to do with our understanding of grit and persistence and belief structures, in that no matter what condition a student happens to live in, they can be top performers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working on selecting my summer reading for this year. Still cleaning up the end of this semester, but looking forward to finding a great work to have some R&R time to reflect on.
So mine is not going to be as intellectual as our superintendent, but I'm looking forward to reading Dan Brown's latest novel, Inferno.
Oh my God.
So I'm looking forward to reading that too.
Super
Relax.
great. Super great.
Yeah.
I think you're all such amazing people, and I am so grateful to the work that you do every day to lift the possibilities for our kids. And I know the world is watching, and what you do is very heavy on you personally, and yet you have built an amazing team. So thank you for loving our kids, thank you for loving this district, and thank you for working your butts off to make sure we are best in the
I
country.
think the same is for you and the
Yes,
board. I mean, it doesn't happen
Yeah.
unless we're one team and this works, and I really appreciate that. And I do like the notion, it's not a person. It is not a single person. It is us as a team.
Indeed.
And I want to thank you because as board president, I think you have been the wind beneath the wings of this team.
Absolutely.
Well,
So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming
you.
and sharing your energy and your work. And thank you for joining us. If you want to learn more about the reform efforts taking place at the LAUSD or to contact me, visit lausd.net. As we continue to reform our schools in order to create the best educational opportunities for our students, it requires all of us to do our part. I'm Monica Garcia. Together we will reform education, achieve 100% graduation, and make the LAUSD the best school district in the nation.